Welcome, kitchen dwellers. Today, let us play with prime rib. Now, people who come to me for coaching about the combination steam oven sometimes mention that the prime rib is not the most popular item to go for in their kitchen because, well, it's a larger cut of meat and generally takes a little bit longer time to prepare, and sometimes it doesn't come out perfect. So, today let's find out a way to prepare this thing simply and easily and have a fail-proof way of cooking it perfect every single time. Now, I normally like to buy larger cuts of meat and freeze them in vacuum-sealed bags in portions. This way it helps with cost and also makes it easier for portion control. Just make sure you are taking them out of the freezer about 2 days ahead of time to defrost them in the fridge. After properly defrosted, the only preparation we're doing is a layer of thick kosher salt on the outside, then tightly wrapped in wax paper, and then one more night in the fridge and we're good to go. It is now the next day suddenly, and I trust that you have already taken your prime rib out of the fridge, let's say 3-4 hours ahead of time, so that the whole piece of meat comes to a comfortable, close to room temperature situation so that it cooks evenly in the oven afterwards. Now go to your combination steam oven. We're going to make this really fail-proof every single time. For that, we'll be utilizing the favorites program on the combination steam oven. This program allows us to build our own customizable cooking functions by drawing up to 10 different steps in the cooking process. So the idea is that we're going to give this piece of prime rib a beautiful sear on the outside for the first maybe 20 minutes or so at a very high temperature. After the initial searing is done and the little crust is formed on the outside of the meat, the oven will then go into a temperature monitored slow roasting situation to make sure the whole meat gets cooked evenly and properly without overcooking it. Because after we take the meat out of the oven, it still cooks for another 10 degrees or so while it's resting, we're going to be setting the internal temperature for this cook to about 125 degrees. And this will require you to use the meat probe, which we'll get to later. The nice thing about the combination steam oven is that you can control the moisture as well. So under the combination mode that we're setting up, you get a 0% moisture searing phase for a nicer color and a higher percentage moisture in the end for a better tender meat. After this program is set up, exit out of everything and go to the automatic master chef for steaming our potatoes or other sides if you wish. We're going with potatoes here today. While the potatoes or other sides are being steamed nicely, let's go ahead and prepare the rub for the meat. 3 simple ingredients. We have garlic paste, pink salt, which is being grounded into a fine powder, and a bottle of smooth Dijon mustard because your loved one is always right and buys the best stuff when they're shopping for you. Generously smother this whole thing over the meat and we're almost ready for the oven. Make sure you are preheating your oven temperature to 435 and perhaps even hotter if you're using a bigger oven instead of the combination steam oven. As the temperature is preheating, find your temperature probe. We're going to need this later as well. Once the oven is hot, place the dark blue or gray colored drip tray on the very bottom on level 1 of the oven. If you have the XL model of the steam oven, put the metal wire rack with the meat on it on level 2. And if you have the XXL model, then put the metal wire rack on level 3. Then hate yourself a little bit for not getting a more flexible oven glove and insert the probe sharp end into the center of the meat. Make sure to avoid any bone structure or fatty pockets. Very carefully position the thicker end of the probe into the side of the oven intended for the temperature probe's insert. Then it becomes very simple. Cancel your existing preheating program and go into the favorites and select prime rib start. As you wait for the oven to do its magic, let's move on to some potatoes, prepared however you like. I like to do it this way. I should probably have mentioned this earlier, your steam oven is good for steaming vegetables too, especially potato for mashed potato. It's quite simple. Prior to preheating your oven for the prime rib, use a MasterChef automatic program and steam about 2 to 3 potatoes. Cut them up and have the oven do its thing. After the steaming is done, heat up a small pot of cream, perhaps about half a cup to about a cup or so, and pretty much just dump the cooked potatoes inside, season it, and stir it around until it's smooth. Very simple. And look at that, we are done. Now this cook time is going to differ depending on how big or thick your cut is. The beauty of this favorite program is that because for the second final stage of cooking, we're utilizing the internal temperature monitoring system, the prime rib will never be overcooked. No matter big or small, the oven will finish cooking and alert you when it hits the internal temperature of 125 degrees Fahrenheit. Take it out and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, and the cooking will continue to bring it up to about 130 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is when you get the most even cooked and also still very nice and pink inside on the prime rib. Normally for a single bone cut like this, you're okay to just kind of serve and carve right away. But I'm just cutting this in half to showcase the beautiful pink blushing inside. Turns out this actually looks kind of like a heart if you put them together like this, but yeah, we don't really have time for that, so let's just go ahead and cut this up and start putting them onto a little plate with the previously steamed vegetables. Yeah, now I realize I actually did that off screen under the menu cooking mode together with the steamed potatoes earlier. But you know what? Let's cover that topic on a separate video. It's too much stuff today anyway already with this automatic cooking of prime rib. So there you go. This thing smells incredible and looks even better in person, so I'm gonna stop talking now and try to remember that lovely first bite. And yeah, let's go eat this thing. Thank you for watching, and I hope I was able to improve your home appliance experience. If you found my content helpful, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, share with others who needs these info. All of the contents will be categorized by appliance type on my channel for more tips and how-tos. These contents are based on my personal experience and opinion. Miele Limited does not sponsor, support, or dictate any of the contents created here. Social media connections are on the screen as well as some other related videos. Have fun in the kitchen!